There was once at a border, when the border was open between America and Mexico. Now it's closed. There were people that used to travel back and forth. And there was a police from the border, who is from the customs. He used to see a guy coming with a bicycle. And he sees him coming the first time with a bicycle and 2 bags carrying on the bicycle. He says, "Oh, stop, come here. What are you trying to pass?" He said, "Oh, nothing, I have 2 bags. What do you have in the bags?" He says, "I have sand." "Sand? Let me check this." Come inside the office, he opens the bags, checks the sand. He says, "It can't be. The guy is going to carry sand from USA to Mexico. Why don't I have sand there?" He's trying to see, maybe there's drugs inside this. Checks the bags, checks out all clear. He clears it. Go. Next day, same guy. Same bike and 2 bags. He says, "Wow, this guy is playing me. Let me check." He checks him. And again, nothing. Everything comes out clear. And the sand is just sand. And he goes on like this for a couple of months. This guy, every single day, goes on a bike and he has 2 bags of sand on it. This patrol officer at the customs, at the US Customs, he retires. He tells his wife, "You know what? Let's go to the border to Mexico. I heard they have good food and cheap. Let's eat there." They cross the border. He goes to a Mexican restaurant. While he's there with his wife, he sees this guy, Tony. He sees him, he says, "I know you." He says, "I know you too." He says, "You have been traveling with a bike." He says, "Yeah." He said, "Let me ask you something. You know, I'm retired, so don't worry about anything. I just want to understand, what have you done for a few months coming every single day with a bike and 2 bags of sand? What were you smuggling? I knew you did something. Can you please tell me?" He says, looks at him, gives him a laugh. He says, "I used to smuggle stolen bikes. But I put the sand, so you don't know what I'm doing."
Take away your attention.
We're here for the food. We're here for the fun. But if you know the zechut and the merit that Rabbi Holzberg has given us tonight, to take with us the entire Rambam, and Be'ezat Hashem, like his son-in-law Sheyahia said, maybe we should start, take it upon ourselves, is one of the greatest things we can do. The Rabbi Lubavitch had a lofty vision in Tafshin Dalet Mem, a vision that changed the world. And he chose that all his Talmidim, or rather every single Jew, should take upon himself to learn the Rambam, which many have done, many are doing, and Be'ezrat Hashem, many will do even more. What is that vision that he had? The vision is to get us to the end of this Galut, to get us to the Geulah Shlema. And this brings me to the last parasha that we read, Terumah. It says over there that they brought one of the most employed material was Atze Shittim, cedar wood. And Rashi says, Me'ayin haya lahem bamidbar. Where did they have this Atze Shittim, cedar wood? Piresh Rabbi Tanhuma. He says, Rabbi Tanhuma says, Yaakov Avinu tzafa ben Ruach HaKodesh. Yaakov Avinu, our forefather, he saw that Bnei Israel will one day need to build the Mishkan. So he brought cedars with him to plant in Egypt, and he planted them. And he instructed Bnei Israel, please take them along with you when you leave Egypt. And this seems very strange. Why? Why carry trees from the Holy Land to Egypt? And for use in a building that's going to be built in 210 years from now. In life, it's very good to prepare and to plan for a long term. But to pack for something that you need 210 years from now, it's really going above and beyond. It's going overboard. And it's not like Yaakov Avinu came to Egypt with no luggage. Yaakov Avinu was 130 years old. He displaced his entire family. And it's not that he had nothing else better to bring, but he thought of bringing the Atzei Shittim, this cedar wood, with him for one reason. And the second question is, Rashi usually never brings the name of the author of any Gemara or any Midrash. One of the exceptions is in this Rashi. He says, Darash Rabbi Tanhuma. Why Rabbi Tanhuma? Because Tanhuma is to comfort someone, to give him Tanhumim. Tanhuma is to console someone who's hurting. And he says, Darash Rabbi Tanhuma. Rabbi Tanhuma says, you have to know why Yaakov Avinu brought this cedar wood with him to Egypt. You know why? Because he knew that this nation of the Egyptians, who were very hospitable to us, they received us, me, my children, and everyone. One day, they're going to turn against you. And one day, they're going to hate you and try to exterminate you. And Yaakov Avinu says, this is only a passage. I want you to plant this cedar wood, and I want you to teach your children that these were planted because one day we are going to leave this country and we are going to our Holy Land. And we're going to build our Mishkan. With what? With this wood. So that has been a tradition. Yaakov Avinu has died. Yosef died. All the generation of Yaakov and his children passed on. And the new generation is there, and they're looking at the cedar trees, and they know. My father told me that these Atzei Shittim were brought by Yaakov Avinu. I never met Yaakov, but that's okay. And you know why they were planted? Because one day we're going to come out of here, and we have to take them out with us. And we have to build the Mishkan. Those cedar trees, they were planted and growing and bringing hope to Bnei Israel. The hope that there is a future, there is a Geulah. That is the lofty vision of Yaakov Avinu. And that is why it was taught by Rabbi Tanhuma. I want to welcome my dear friend and brother, not from the same last name, but he's my brother, like my brother. Amen. Rabotai, Yaakov Avinu had a lofty vision. He had a vision of hope for Am Yisrael. Everyone, if you give them a promise, the promise is nice, but it's only words. You need something tangible. Yaakov Avinu understood that, and he says, in order for me to give hope to Am Yisrael, I have to plant them something and not write it on a paper or say it to my children so they should tell them, oh yes, one day we're going to come out. No. I want them to look at those trees that are very silent but they're giving them a koach, a strength of hope. Rabotai, when the Rabbi Milubavitch took over his leadership, he had a lofty vision. And his vision was to plant a cedar tree everywhere in the world. To take the Atzei Shittim and plant them every single where in the world. As a matter of fact, travel, and if you're a good traveler, you'll find the Chabad everywhere you go. There's no island without the Chabad. And if you find one, it's because it's not an island. There is a Chabad everywhere you go. And they are there to care for another Jew, to love another Jew, to show compassion to another Jew, to teach, to be there for every Jewish soul wherever they are. And you can travel the world and you will see them. As a matter of fact, what do you think Rabbi Holzberg is doing in Brooklyn? The same way Yaakov Avinu has done, planting the Atzei Shittim, the cedar words. That's why he's here to plant and to give love. David HaMelech says, Tzadik Tamar Ifrach, Ke'erez Balevanon Yizkeh. A tzaddik shall bloom like a palm tree. Ke'erez, like a cedar tree, he should flourish. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Yaakov Avinu, I'm so proud of you. You took these cedar trees and you planted them in Egypt for Am Israel to have hope, to continue. I'm going to plant tzaddikim everywhere in the world. And that's what he has done. He's going to plant leaders everywhere in the world. So wherever you go, you have a leader that can teach you, that can tell you what's right, can tell you what's wrong, that can give you love, that can give you a pat on your back when you need, that can give you a hug when you suffer, that can kiss you at your simcha. That's a leader. Who started Yaakov Avinu? A leader in Hebrew is Nasi. A Nasi is Nitzotz Shel Yaakov Avinu. If you take the word Nasi, Berashet Tevot, Nitzotz Shel Yaakov Avinu. Every leader has something, has a part, has a love, has a koach of Yaakov Avinu. The Rabbi took that Nesiut and he gave it to his shluchim. His shluchim became these angels. I call them angels. Because when you go to China, or when you go to Spain, or when you go to Cancun became now Syrian, but before, it became very Jewish.
But there's still Chabad.
Yeah, but Chabad is there. And what do you see? You see the shluchim. I was once in Valencia many years ago, in Spain, and I saw the Chabad. And I asked him, are we going to have minyan for Shabbat, or should I go to Madrid? He told me, listen, every Shabbat I try my best. If there are, we have minyan, and if not. And I was amazed to see a young rabbi with his wife, 2 children, living a life of waiting to be here if there is someone who's going to have, who needs a spare tire. That's what it is. He's there to help. Who are these? These are malachim. They sacrifice their life for another Jew. Maybe one Jew is going to pass by the city. I have to be there for him and make Shabbat for him. Needless to say, that just this afternoon, I was thinking about it and I said, what did Yaakov Avinu teach us? Atzei Shittim. Shittim. If you take the word Shittim, is Shluchim, Tehorim, Yesharim, Malachim. These are the Shluchim of the Rabbi. These are the Atzei Shittim. And Atzei Shittim in English is cedar trees. If you take cedar, C-E-D-A-R, is they are caring, they're exceptional. D, They are, devoted, A, amazing, and R, respectful as well. You see who they are? These are the caring people. Now, you saw the video. Needless to repeat the story of my encounter the first time with the Rabbi, except that I didn't say it there, or maybe I did and they cut it off. We grew up in a home where our father, Zecher Tzadik V'Kol, he translated the Tanya. In Tafshin Lamed, which was 1970, he was asked by Rabbi Raskin that the Rebbe says we have to translate the Tanya to Arabic. And my father told him, the Tanya? First of all, I am the inspector of all the schools. I teach every day. I have a shul, Shabbat, and when am I going to have the time to translate the Tanya? And in order to translate, I have to know it, and I don't know it. So he told him, don't worry, we're going to learn it together. And every time you learn, you take your time. And he says, if the Rebbe asked, and I found the right one because I sent him your name, that means you're the shliach to do it. My father took it upon himself. And he says, okay. It took them 8 years to finish the Targum of the Tanya.
Wow.
Tafshin Lamed Chet he finished. Then they printed the Tanya. And Yud Shvat, Tafshin Lamed Tet, my father was invited to come and bring the Tanya in Arabic, which is written in Hebrew, but the words are Arabic. He came to the Rebbe to give it to him as an end work.
Wow.
My father was by the Rebbe together alone for about 35 minutes until today. Nobody knows what they spoke about. I have asked my father numerous times, and he never answered the question directly. Yet, my father came here in Tafshin Lamed Tet for the Siyum, and a year and a half later he came for my wedding. And Baruch Hashem, we went to the Rabbi. Coming out of the Rabbi, my father told me, I want to tell you, my son, I know you're learning in Kolel, I know you have a seder, you just got married and you're busy, but I want to tell you something. For someone to be called a Yareh Shamayim, he must learn Tanya. If someone did not learn Tanya, or does not learn Tanya, he knows nothing about Yirat Shamayim. There is no Yirat Shamayim or knowing Hashem without learning Tanya. And that's how, Baruch Hashem, after I have built the Bet Knesset of Netivot Israel, one of the first shiurim that we had for a couple of years was twice a week to have Tanya. At home we used to learn it. Rabotai, I want to get you to eat very soon, but I'm going to share with you a small story to conclude of seeing the greatness of what the Rebbe was and speaking about planting these cedar woods everywhere in the world. I grew up in Morocco, where we grew up with the Chabad, who came and saved the Jewish community in Morocco. We thank them so much, and we owe them so much. Nobody knows. People say, yes, in Morocco we had Talmidei Chachamim and everything. By the years of the 60s when it came, and the Alliance came, Moroccan Jewry was going down the drain. The one who saved the children, the one who saved Yirat Shamayim, the one who saved are the schools, the yeshivot of Aolis, Yosef Yitzchak, and the seminarium of Chabad for the girls. Thousands of young men and young girls were saved just by going and learning by them. So I have known their work and what they have done. In 1985, I deal in Etrogim Lulavim. The Lulavim from Morocco were forbidden to come to the US. So I was looking for a place where they have palm trees. And I went to Turkey with a friend of mine. His name is Yaakov Kadosh. He lives in Marrakesh. And we used to do the Lulavim together. I told him I found a place in Turkey. They have a lot of palm trees. And we went. We got to a city called Iskenderun, We came from Paris on a Monday, and we were supposed to go back on Thursday. On Thursday, we go to the airport. Air France made a strike. There's no flights. What do? Oh, we have a flight for you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Tomorrow 6 p.m. is Friday at 6 p.m. is Shabbat. We said, no, we can't. We went back to our hotel. We called that Jewish guy that we met in Iskandar room, who was the only Jewish guy there, and we told him the story. He says, oh, mina shamayim hashgaha. Of course, hashgaha. Every time you tell a Jew, that is hashgaha. Even if you lost $1 million, it's hashgaha. If you believe in Hashem. He says, listen, I'm not going to invite you to my house. I'm not kosher. And I'm the only Jew here. You have no minyan. There is a town. It's called Antakya. An hour away from here. My father-in-law lives there. He's the Hacham. They have a shul. You're going to eat by him. And he is the Hacham, the Shohed, this. I said, okay. Friday morning, we had a driver. He took us to that place. We went to the hotel where he told us to go. We're getting ready for Shabbat. Nobody's coming. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And it was like November, December. It's Then we hear the muezzin. That means the shki'ah is coming up. So I call him up. I said, sir, we are here waiting at the hotel. Where's the shul? He says, it's 3 minutes away from there. Okay, give us the address. We have the talit and the siddur to take back. We don't want to carry on this. Wait, my guy is going to come to pick you up. The guy comes, he walks with us, a little boy. He takes us. We get into a shul. Nice shul. Not so big, but beautiful. Okay, we put our stuff. He says, the guy says you have to go upstairs. Upstairs is his house. Okay, we go upstairs. We see an older woman, a younger woman, and a child. So I look and I say, I think it's already Shabbat. So I tell the woman, the nerot are prepared and she's knitting. I said, aren't you going to light the candles? She tells me, no. I light when my husband comes back from work. I said, okay, but it's almost Shabbat, no? She says, no. When my husband comes, that's when Shabbat comes in. That's a good way. This is a house where we're going to eat for Shabbat. Anyway, we're there. And my friend is looking at me. He doesn't understand. So the younger woman, she looks at me and she says, I should light, yes? I said, yes, it's Shabbat, mamash. It's, if not, you're going to light Hilul Shabbat. She says, okay. So she asks her mother-in-law, can I light? She says, yeah, go ahead and light. And she was sitting with her tea and knitting, and we're waiting. Around 7 p.m., this gentleman walks in. Oh, bruchim abbayim, bruchim abbayim. Yeah, bruchim abbayim. Very good. Okay, what do? We prayed mincha already, yahid. Now it's Arvit. Okay, he says, you know, the shul is downstairs. So we know. We put our talit and siddur over there. We go downstairs with his son, who is the husband of that young woman. Now we are 4 people. Him, his son, me and my friend. Pitom, 2 guys come in. 7:05, so we're 6 people. I said, oh, so we're not going to have minyan. He said, yeah, we're going to have. He tells his son, go. Call Moshe, call Yitzhak, call this guy. Oh, he uses the phone. I said, this is... Okay. We're about 12 people. Now, my friend has a much longer beard. So he tells him, you know, maybe you should pray for us, Harbi. So he says, no, me. My friend, he is the rabbi. He is the Hazan. He is a Baal Koreh. Let him do it. So he gives me, I pray Arvit. Believe me, I prayed Arvit as a concert for 100 people.
Wow.
I said, I'm going to give it all myself, which I did. We finished. He says to us, okay, beautiful tefillah, thank you. Come to my house to eat. We're about to go to eat. So I told him, no, I'm sorry. We can't go. He says, why? I said, we have a problem. What's the problem? I said, we come from America. We only eat, there's one rabbi there, his name is Lubavitch Rebbe. If he watches, he's the mashgiach, we eat. If it has a stamp, we eat. If not, we don't eat. He says, who is this? I said, I don't know, but my friend is Chabad. So I tell him, you have a picture of the Rabbi in your room, of Talmid. Say, yeah. I said, show it to him. So he shows it to him. He looks, he said, nice rabbi. He said, Rav, Hashub. I said, you never saw him? No, never. I said, okay. So I said, you see, that's our problem. So he said, so how do you do when you travel? I said, we bring our food. We have fruits and vegetables, and we're good to go. You have what to eat for 12? We had matzot, tuna fish, and some fruit. Okay? We go to our room, we make kiddush on the matzot, we make motzi, we eat, we sing. And we had ga'inim, of course. We bought some sunflower seeds. We had them and we were talking. He had a sefer, I had my own sefer. Pitom we hear somebody at the door. We open the door and we see. So I said, who's going to knock over here at 10 o'clock at night? I look at the peephole and I see that's the young woman, the daughter-in-law. But she was there with her husband. They come in. I said, is everything okay? She says, yeah, we came to see if you had enough food, if you ate. My father says, you didn't want to eat. I said, no, Hashem, we ate. I said, you want fruits here? We have fruits, we have ga'inim, what do you want? He says, wow, nice. And I see the wife, she didn't come for this. She came for something else. I'm looking at her, she's like nervous. She wants to tell me something, and she can't talk. So I tell her, are you okay? She says, well, I have to tell you, he's the son of the rabbi. Yes? I am a Syrian girl, I'm not Turkish. I was on my way to go to Israel with my entire family. We ran away from Syria through the mountains, and we came to Antakya. Antakya is the border between Syria and Turkey. While walking in the mountain, I fell and I broke both my legs. And we were 24 people in that caravan. So my parents had no choice. The Jewish guy who was with us told me he's going to take care of me. He told my parents, I'm going to take her to the hospital. When she's better, I'll send her back to Israel. So they took me to the hospital, but I stayed in the hospital 4 months, one surgery after the other. And of course, within these months, this young man, their son, used to come, bring me food and this, and we fell in love. So then we got married. But she says, I thought I'm marrying the son of the rabbi. Before the wedding, I said, I want to go to the mikveh. They tell me, yeah, we'll take you to the hammam. They take her to the hammam, there's no mikveh. And she says, I have been married now for 3 years. And I am, every time I go with my husband, I cry that I don't go to the mikveh. And I made already a child, and I don't want to have another child, and I'm sick. And can you please explain to him what the importance of mikveh is? This is the first time I see Jewish people here, besides the Jews that we have in our town. So I tried to explain to him, the guy doesn't even know what a mikveh is. I said, I'll speak to his father. Anyway, the next day I spoke to the father. We took it upon ourselves to build a mikveh in that city. I came back with my friend, and while on the flight back from Paris to New York, I took a paper and I started writing my entire trip in Turkey. And I wrote it to the Rabbi. Last question, where is your cedar tree? Where is your Atzei Shittim? Where is your Shliach? I don't understand. We were in Istanbul, big community, no shlichim. We were in Iskenderun, no shluchim. So I went Sunday, I said, I'll take with me the letter and I'll give it to the Rabbi. But I got there, And Rabbi Gorner was standing, so I said, I have a letter. He says, give it to me. So I gave it to him. And then I got a few dollars from the Rabbi and I left. And I never heard from the Rabbi nor gotten an answer. I thought maybe that letter got lost, maybe it got thrown out, or maybe the Rabbi was not interested to answer me. It took 5 months. 5 months later, I was going to go on a trip. During the week, I went Sunday to the Rabbi. And I passed for the dollars. I forgot about the letter? No. But the letter was in the back of my mind. I come to the Rabbi, and hundreds of people. He gives me $1 like this, yes? I take the dollar, I look at him. Oh, he looks at me, and he stops. He says, I received your letter. Wow. So what? He says, yeah. And I read your letter. But we are not allowed to be in Turkey. And that's why I couldn't even answer you. Because Chabad is not allowed to be in Turkey. Be'ezat Hashem will be time when we will be there to help the Jews in Turkey. That's his answer of where and how he cared for every Jew wherever he was. So I want to say, Rabotai, Yehi Ratzon, that with this and this beautiful Siyum, נזכה לביאת משיח צדקנו, תכף ומייד, ממש.